The biggest muscle car party of the year is coming to the Minnesota State Fairgrounds July 17th to the 19th, the Street Machine Nationals. And you can be there. Enter now for your chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets at KFAN.com, keyword contest.
I didn't miss the concert vibe, did I?
Nope.
Because I really was embarrassed yesterday when you were setting me up for it, and I just froze. I didn't have a song in my head, and it was just like, and it was embarrassing. I was embarrassed for myself, and then I felt embarrassed for you because you were setting it up, and you were probably thinking, why are you doing this to me? Why are you just making me? So I apologize for that, but
It'll be next break, after next break, so
I'm excited.
Get yourself ready for it.
I will get myself ready for it. Time now for a 5-3-4 here on the Fan.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Brought to you by Willow River Company. Question number 1. It's time now for a look at the links.
I miss Jethro Tull.
Yeah, not biblically bad, but historically good. Cheryl Reeve won her WNBA record 380th career regular season win in the Lynx' 86-80 win over the Connecticut Sun last night at Mohegan Sun Arena. Cheryl's teams are 380 and 196 all time in the regular season and 52 and 31 all time in the playoffs. Common is Cheryl Reeve, the greatest women's basketball coach of all time.
I think she might be the greatest coach in Minnesota sports history.
I'm based off of wins and losses. You can't.
Yeah, and how many?
Other than maybe the Frost coach.
Yeah, there you go. How many world championships have the Lynx won?
Well, they won 4 in a 7-year stretch there.
So 7 world championships. How many Bud Grant win?
0.
How many did Flip Saunders win?
0.
How many did Ron Gardenhire win?
0.
How many did Kevin McHale win?
0.
How many did Jacques Lemaire win?
0.
I mean, how many? Sheriff?
Tom Kelly won 2.
Yeah, Tom Kelly did 1 too. So he would be second best.
Yeah.
And I know I'm just kind of doing a bit, but don't you think she could be considered the best coach? They're the most successful franchise, pro sports franchise in Minnesota history, right? As far as if you use world championships as your barometer, which what else do you use? I mean, for instance, the Vikings winning percentage-wise, don't they have one of all the NFL teams? Don't wins, loss, regular season? They're one of the, I think. Am I wrong in this? For some
reason, top 10.
Yeah, they're top 10. But you know what? So what? How many ships do you have? None. So I don't know.
Well, I think kind of this second run now too has really validated Cheryl in my opinion. I mean, she was already validated with the 4 wins in 7 years, but you can always do your franchise just lucked into getting Maya Moore, right? You know, like you lucked into, Lindsay Whalen wanting to play for her hometown team. That team had to completely rebuild.
Correct.
Right? Maya Moore left earlier than you would have imagined. And you had some aging players. So they went through a stretch there where they were not a quality team. And now they're building it back up. And with Olivia Miles and if MVP is healthy, like they could go on another run where they almost won it last year. And now you got Olivia Miles.
Do you think the commissioner of the WNBA, if we get to the finals, will be wearing a dress that's adorned with a lynx head instead of the Statue of Liberty? Do you think that she'll get on our side? But yeah, you're right.
It'll have the Mall of America on there.
Maybe have MOA. So I admire what they've done. You don't have to like the Lynx or Cheryl Reeves, but you have to respect.
You have to respect it.
Question number 2. It's time now to consider the course.
Yesterday, we had mentioned that Jordan Spieth had committed to the 3M Open. Well, 2 other notable names committed today to the 3M Open. That would be Max Homa and Jason Day. They'll stick a tee in the ground in Blaine the week of July 20th through the 26th. Common, do Homa and Day move the needle for you?
Day does. I mean, and Homa's a good player. I like Max. And Max also, he was a rising star, and then all of a sudden, and my timelines aren't real. They're fuzzy. I think it was a year ago or so, 18 months ago, he just was terrible. I mean, the bottom got pulled out from under him. Rug got pulled out from under him. He's playing better. Jason Day won a PGA championship, so he has one major under his belt. He's a really good player, and I think most of this year, on a number of tournaments, he's been right in the thick of things. He's not won anything this year, but I think he's been right there. So, yeah, I like watching him play. I like his game. So Jason Day certainly moves in. Now you have Scheffler, Spieth, Homa, and Day, and then you already had, the rest of the field wasn't just all, bottom feeders. There were a number of talented players. So yeah, the field's starting to get a little, they've added a little zhuzh to it is what they've done. So I like it. Yeah, it'll be fun. We'll be out there for tee to green. This week we're at Cragen's for tee to green. We're going about, tend to be,
lucky.
Where will my troubles be about 3:40 on Friday afternoon?
The troubles will be behind you.
They'll be behind me because
once you cross that Nook County line.
Once you get north of that Nook County line, we'll be up at Cragen's for tee to green. And then the final two tee to greens of the season will be at TPC of the Twin Cities. So, yeah, that adds a little zhuzh to it. I like it. That's good.
Question number 3.
We're gonna win, Twins, we're gonna score.
It's now time to delve deep into Twins territory.
Crack out a home run, shout a hit, hooray! Cheer for the Minnesota Twins today.
As you mentioned, Alan Roden in his season debut delivered a walk-off RBI single as the Twins beat the Guardians 6-5 last night at Target Field. Twins rallied from 3 runs down in the 4th and 2 runs down in the 7th. It was their first home series victory against Cleveland in more than 4 years. And they've also won 4 straight games. They're just 2 games back of Chicago and 1 game back of Cleveland in the AL Central. Common, is this Twins team capable of winning the American League Central?
Turn on my mic. Yes, I think so. I do. Now, winning the American League, get back to me. Winning a World Series, I got to say, really, no. I mean, that'd be one of those age of Aquarius, Moon, 7th house, Jupiter, Alliance, Mars. The thing is the team, we saw a better version of the Twins just a couple of years ago that, when was that when we finished the season like 12-37? we were in control of the American League Central. And then we just had a terrible finish to the season. We just went completely in the tank. So that's always possible. I mean, because this team seems to be a lesser team than that was, player for player on the roster. So, but yeah, I don't see why they can't. I don't think Chicago or Cleveland. I don't think either of those teams. Cleveland has been pretty solid for years. They that's why we cherry picked Derek Falvey away from them. But yeah, I think we can. Do you believe? I don't see why not. It's just not.
It's not a good division, right. So anything's possible at this point. And Tom Pohlad, which Pohlad is it now?
It's Tom. Yeah.
Tom, yeah. He once had the quote, "Go big or go home." Well,
yeah.
Let's see if he goes big at the trade deadline and helps boost this team up.
Let me ask you another question.
Yeah.
Do you think which is more likely? Twins winning the division or Corey Cove winning the World Series of Poker?
I would bet on the Twins. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's so much luck involved in the World Series of Poker.
That's exactly right. You're right.
Baseball's more of a skill game.
Plus, Cole's got to beat like another 1,000 players.
Well,
right?
There's that, yeah.
And then
there's going to be like 1,200 more players.
The Twins only have to be 4 teams. So.
Question number 3. Vision for the division.
We're on Division 2 of the National Football League. We've already gone to the AFC West, so let's stick within the conference. Common, who will win the AFC North, and how will you rank those teams?
So we have Ravens, Steelers, Bungles,
Browns.
And Browns. I keep waiting for Joe Burrow to stay healthy and that team to get off to a good start,
yeah.
And the defense to play well. I mean, they're 5 years removed from a big game appearance? 4 years?
Yeah, in his second year as a quarterback,
yeah.
They made it to the big game. Is he going to be this generation's Dan Marino?
You know, I was just thinking that's great minds think alike, or
mediocre minds think alike?
Yeah, because I was thinking the same thing. Maybe he is. The Ravens, I think A-Rod is done. I don't even think he's the best quarterback on the roster. I think that would be your guy. Who's their backup? Do you know?
Oh, they drafted one, and I don't remember his name.
Whatever his name is.
They also have like Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, Rudolph. So I don't think Pittsburgh will win. I don't think Cleveland will. I don't know why. I don't know enough about Cleveland. They're okay, right? Or do they still got pass rusher guy, or
no? They sent him to L.A.
They did send him to L.A. That's right.
They have huge questions at quarterback.
Yeah, they're done.
I mean, did 3 of the 4 teams in this division change head coaches as well? Right? Harbaugh went to the New York Giants. Pittsburgh now has Mike McCarthy. Tomlin's gone, and Stefanski's gone from Cleveland. So it's a little unpredictable in that regard.
Remind me, who got the Ravens job?
I don't even remember the name.
I'll go with Cincinnati. How about you? I'll take Cincinnati. I think this
one of these years, yeah, he's going to have an offensive line and he's going to have a defense, and the skill's going to be able to take over. I don't know what to think of Baltimore now without Harbaugh. I mean, they were pretty consistent for what, like that 20-year stretch that Harbaugh was there. You have no idea what kind of offense is going to be run now with Lamar Jackson. I guess I'll go Cincinnati, as weird as that sounds.
Me too.
And that's it for today's edition of 5 Questions. Well, actually 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
I need to turn my microphone on. Brought to us by our friends at Willow River Company. They're your outdoor living experts. So here's what's so nice. I come back from golf today, get cleaned up before I come to work and pack a lunch, and I see the Willow River pickup truck parked in the street in front of my house, and I'm like, hot dang, I mean, it is hot. I forgot. I don't have to spend any time weeding my garden bed. I've hired out Willow River Company to do it for me. Tell me, what would you rather do today? Would you rather go home after you're done working and sit in your air-conditioned house watching television or spending time with your family, or go out to your backyard and pull weeds out of your landscape?
Well, if you've seen my yard, you would know that I've made the inside with the kids decision a lot more.
There you go. So it's just so nice, and it's available to everyone. WillowRiverCompany.com. Family-owned operation. They treat you like family. Come join the family. They're your outdoor living experts. They do all sorts of yard work, too. I mean, they'll mow your lawn, and they'll weed and feed it, the whole thing. And, of course, landscaping as well. WillowRiverCompany.com. That's WillowRiverCompany.com.
The Common Man.
That show is so creative.
KFAN welcomes some great shows to Mystic Lake Amphitheater. 311.
I bet you never heard old Marshall Dillon say, "Hey, Miss Kitty, have you ever thought of running away? Settling down, would you marry me? If I asked you twice and begged you pretty please."
And Dirty Heads.
Big balls in Cowtown, living on the ground, eating saltine crackers, 10 cents a pound.
We'll be there on July 11th. John Mellencamp.
Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu.
We'll be there July 14th, and the Black Crows.
I'm up all night to get lucky. I'm up all night to get lucky. I'm up all night to get lucky. I'm up all night to get lucky.
On July 28th, get the complete details on all of our upcoming shows on the concert page at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Hold on, the story I want has got to be here somewhere. Don't go anywhere. Give me just one more second. I have it. the show, and I know why you did it. You played one of our favorite, when Tenny B opens the show. This is a radio show that no two opens have been exactly alike, and I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, well, what are you talking about? You play Common Man, no show prep, no solid. Tom Hips, by the way, did that, and Tom, close circuit to him, he sent me another little minute-and-a-half song that I promised I'd play for him, and I haven't done that yet, but I will. But, and I'll get it to you. I'll forward.
He did the Tennessee Let It Be that we play on Tenor Fitzgerald now, too.
And he did another one. But, and then we play the, why would anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? And then we play Fanfare for the Common Man, and then Tennessee mashes the button bar. And why I say it's no different, because I don't think Tennessee has ever played the same exact sound bites in the same exact sequence, ever. I don't think it's ever been done, so it would be a different open every day. But he started it out with Jesse Ventura. Can you play that one again?
Yep.
And the reason you played is because this is Jesse Ventura holding a news conference, and in the as one of the members of the media is the late Twin Cities Star Tribune columnist Doug Groh.
You find this funny, Mr. Groh? You're smiling. Do you find this humorous?
Well, there's people in the church every week finding people.
No, they're not. Do you find this humorous, Mr. Groh? You're laughing and smiling. I'm just wondering if you do. You didn't answer my question, Mr. Groh. Do you find this humorous?
No, I find it in keeping with 4 years, sir.
At least you're not smiling and laughing now. Oh, I guess you're back at it again now.
So then he was back at it again last night. And that all was set up by Ventura's the governor. Paul Wellstone, the late Paul Wellstone, perishes along with his wife in a plane crash while on the campaign trail. He was going to face Norm Coleman for a United States Senator. So now, and this was just weeks before the election, so the Democrats had to come up with a alternate candidate, and they asked Walter Mondale, former United States Senator from Minnesota and former vice president under Jimmy Carter, if he would run. And his nickname was Fritz, and I still don't know why. Maybe it's because he was on the Fritz. His campaign song should have been Putting on the Fritz.
Brilliant.
So he agrees. So now they have to do a debate. Walter kept calling him Norman during the debate to try to get him going. Well, Norman, he wouldn't call him Norman, he called him Norman. If that was going to get him going, I don't know. That'd be like me calling you Blandon. And they decided not to include, it was a hastily arranged debate. They decided not to include the independent candidate for United States Senate, who I don't even recall who it was now. And that made Ventura bitter because, remember, he won the governorship as an independent.
Yeah.
So at the same time they were going to do the debate, it was like, I don't know why they were doing it at 10 o'clock in the morning, but they were going to do it at 10 o'clock in the morning. And so Ventura decided, because he was bitter, he decided he would hold a news conference at the exact same time so the media would have to split up, right? They'd have two stories to announce that Dean Barkley would be filling out the remainder of Wellstone's term, about 6 weeks or whatever, however long, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, until whoever won, Norman or Mondale, would be sworn in to take that. So Groh got the call to cover the news conference, and that's where he started asking Doug about, do you find this funny, Mr. Groh? And then he basically says, I find it in keeping with 4 years. Well, at least you're not smiling and laughing anymore. Now you're back at it. And Doug wrote about sports, politics. I'm reading from a piece that was written by him by Tim Harlow of the Star Trib. It says he wrote about sports, politics, and public policy for 27 years as a columnist and a reporter for the Minnesota Star Tribune. One of Groh's editors is quoted, Marilyn Hogemeyer. She said, Doug was such an important voice, always for the good, for the right of people. He was never afraid to speak truth to those who needed to hear it. He died yesterday in Minneapolis after battling various forms of cancer and spending a short time in hospice. He was 78 years old. He began his journalism career in 1962 as a paperboy, delivering the Minneapolis Tribune in his hometown of Watertown, South Dakota. He graduated from the University of Missouri's journalism school, worked at newspapers in Boonville, Missouri, in Milwaukee, and St. Louis before getting his dream job at the paper he once set on people's doorsteps. Groh wrote in a Star Tribune a column published last year. He was a sports writer until the late 80s, shifted to the Metro section where he wrote for another 20, and then he became a columnist. And I don't know if he was a frequent listener of the show, but I think he ducked in or out a time or two, because he once sent me an email thanking me for keeping his memory alive after he retired, because he just loves hearing you find this funny, Mr. Groh. You're smiling and laughing. And I said, Darren, it's my pleasure. It's just one of my favorites. It's so typical Ventura.
Yeah.
Just so bitter about the whole thing. And he was so angry. And, so there it is. Doug Groh dies at the age of 78. And I always liked Doug's work. Doug used to, when he wrote sports, I remember he would cover Ledoux's fights when Scott was fighting. When Scott had that little run where he beat Kenny Norton, and then he lost to Mike Weaver, and then he beat Marty Monroe, and Monroe was a replacement because he was supposed to have a rematch with Ron Lyle. And then Lyle broke his nose at sparring, and then the promoters went up to Scott and said, well, we still want to do the fight next week. Would you take on Marty Monroe, kid out of Compton who's 20-0, young guy? And a lot of guys, I'm just telling you, a lot of guys would say, I've been preparing for Ron Lyle, not Marty Monroe. I don't know much about Marty Monroe, young kid, 20-0. Maybe, Scott said, I'll fight him. Don't matter to me. And he did. Scott won, and then he got the fight with Holmes, and he lost to Holmes. But, yeah, so Doug Groh, gone but not forgotten, and he will still live in, I don't know if infamy is the right word, but he will certainly live on here on the Common Man program. Because
we will carry his name on.
Yes,
there's no doubt about that.
Because Tenneby, when he mashes that button bar, you can you better believe that we will continue to include that soundbite. We'll pause, return. I'm so excited, Tenneby. If I had the genie's lamp and I could rub it and get 3 wishes, genie pops out, master, you have 3 wishes. The first one would be you have 3 more wishes. The next would be that'd be just before 2 o'clock. Because I'm so anxious to talk to Mark Rosen to find out how his. Because he doesn't talk about it much, but I want to see how his knee is. He had a knee replacement, in case you didn't know. And we'll see, we'll find out how his progress is going there. And we'll talk to him about some sports topics as well, right here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
The Common Man.
There's millions of people on Twitter, and they somehow find an angle that hasn't been thought of yet over and over and over again. It's like, how are
This Friday, come watch all the World Cup action with Nordo at McHughes and Savage. We'll have the quarterfinal match on, tons of games and prizes, and, of course, great drink specials. Party starts at 2 p.m. We'll see you this Friday at McHughes and Savage.
Couple 13-14 past, I'm Common. He's Tenneby. So, have you ever gone to Target to get athletic socks and walk away with windows from Window Nation? This text message says, Common, been listening for years. I agree with most of what you say, but one thing I do not agree is having someone else take care of your lawn. I take great pride in doing my own spraying for weeds, fertilizing and mowing the lawn, and the reward is having one of the nicest lawns in my neighborhood knowing I did it myself. I responded to each his own. I'd rather play golf. I like the reward of knowing that I hit knockdown, punch, cut, fade draws at a high level and that I was able to shoot. I don't shoot 74 at Loggers Trail yesterday if I'm pulling weeds. And there was I still mow my lawn. I do mow my lawn. Yeah. I got a brand new Toro lawnmower for my friends at Lawn and Equipment during Toro days. Got a great deal on it. And if you remember, it was a half price deal for you as well during Toro days. And a lot of people took advantage of it. But there was a time I'm a radio gardener. I liked gardening. I would tweet out pictures of me gardening, but after a while you start going, when you get to be in your mid to late 60s, you got more days behind you than ahead of you. And a wise man once said to me, Tenneby, you're not going to be on your deathbed going, God, I wish I would have picked weeds more. Right? I mean,
Correct.
I'm not going to. Maybe the John from Hastings who sent that text, maybe he's going to feel.
Everyone
that
has
way.
different passions.
Yeah.
And hobbies.
That's not mine. Now I water the flowers outside. We have some hanging baskets, and I've mentioned that Willow River Company or Outdoor Living Experts, they will deliver like once a month or every 6 weeks. They bring these planters that go on the steps. I water those. I water some of the. I have an irrigation system, but part of it doesn't get to one section of landscaping that has flowers. So I water those. When I say by hand, I'm not scooping water out of a stream and dumping it on there by the handful, but I take the hose out and I'll water it and I'll sit there and I'll let the idle thoughts regurgitate in my mind. But I don't like picking weeds anymore. I don't like getting, I did for a while. I would pick weeds and everyone, the thing is the weeds were so, and I know you can spread Roundup too, but I don't want to do that. I just don't. I don't want to spray weeds. I want to pick. I don't want to do that. Do you? Well, you already said you don't.
Well, I don't. And one of my favorite TikTok comedy things that has popped up on my feed before is this comedian who talks about having a dad bod. He said to me, and the bit is, if you have a dad bod, that means you're a good dad.
Yeah.
He said, if you're out exercising and doing push-ups, those are just muscles that aren't hugging your kids.
I like
right?
that.
And then I've now used that for my lawn, right? You can either have an impeccable lawn or you can be a good dad. You can't do both.
Yeah.
It's a time management thing. You can't do both. I guess you can do both if you use Willow River.
Right.
That's the only way you can do both. I've chosen to try to be a good dad.
Yes.
And I don't have time to pick weeds.
Yeah. I don't want to do it. And the one thing I think, and my neighbors probably don't like this, I mow my own lawn, but up against the curb where you can't, the grass is longer against the green. You're supposed to take that weed whipper. Not going to work. I've done the weed. Here's the worst thing. Now, somebody has to help me with the weed whipper thing. I've got one of those weed whippers, the little plastic cable that comes out and you bring,
yeah.
Well, I've got this fence around my house, and it's one of those aluminum that looks like wrought iron.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be lifetime warranty. I'll be dead before the fence goes away, I'm sure. But that when I try to get the weeds underneath the fence, the plastic cable cord or whatever just keeps hitting the fence and keeps breaking. Then I have to let out more and let out more and let out more. It's like, so then I go to Home Depot because I'm looking for one of those. Is it called a scythe? A scythe? You know what they used to take to thrash hay? It's got a handle on it. It's like it almost looks like a boomerang, and it's got big gnarly teeth on it. And you swipe away, and they don't sell those anymore, I was told, because they're too dangerous.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, but it's only dangerous if you don't know how to operate it. Who are they to say that that's too dangerous of a garden tool? So I'm sure my neighbors don't like that because I've got long grass up on the curb. The rest of my lawn's perfect. I'm just not gonna. I don't want to do it. Sorry.
Well, for me too. The extension cord can only go so long.
Yeah.
So you have to plug it in here, and then you get this section of the yard, and then you got to take out the plug, go to the other side of the house, put it back in to get this. You can't just walk around the yard and get all of it.
No, you can't. It's too much. It's just too much. I'm not going to do it, and so. Yeah, so I'm happy with my arrangement that I have right now. I'm really good with it. I was reading a piece about Alyssa Cooper writes for the Fisher Factory West Side. LaMelo Ball brings his signature shoes, catchphrases, and global brand to Minnesota. Says he's an owner of an eccentric car collection. And this says, Ball, the owner of an eccentric car collection, had become a running joke on social media for being a menace in the Charlotte streets during his time with the Hornets.
I have heard that.
How is this funny? How is it a running joke? They show video. He runs red lights. That's not funny. That's what gets people killed. Story goes on to say, Ball has no known driving citations, but fans have posted videos of his cars speeding and running red lights. The fantasy sports website Underdog put up billboards in Minnesota recently that said, beware, LaMelo was driving. Have you seen one of those billboards? I have not.
I didn't see the billboard, but I saw it on social media.
His brother Lonzo yelled, "Watch out," when discussing what car LaMelo is currently driving in the recent appearance together on the LeVar Ball show. LaMelo Ball responded by saying he's the driver, and they show some of these. He's got a gold Ferrari. He's got too much money. He's got a gold Ferrari.
Well, that money's not going to last.
Well, not if he's spending on that. I mean, Chuck Barkley had I saw a video. Someone sent it to me, and I don't know how recent this was, but Barkley was talking about why these athletes don't have any money. And like he said, well, you spend $300,000 on a car. You could have bought a $70,000 car, and you'd have $230,000 left to spend, save, invest, use, flaunt. But now Ball's probably got so much money. If that's what he wants to spend his money on, that's fine. His color choices, the gold, it's awful looking. And then he was driving some type of I think it was one of those Porsche SUVs, and it's kind of like a Viking purple, just hideous looking. But it shows him running red lights. Why is that considered? Oh, it's just LaMelo. If you did a 10-B or I did it, they would say, well, you need to arrest this person. But it's LaMelo's, and he's just he's wacky. He's a great basketball player, so we're gonna they're not gonna let this go here, are they? If he brings his gold Ferrari, starts running red lights, are we just gonna laugh about it and think it's funny?
I'll be doing it on icy streets too.
In January, he welcomed a son with his longtime partner, Annalisa Shaves. And you know what? They named the kid LaJuan. LaJuan.
They did not.
Yes.
You've got to
Possibly
be
a play
kidding me.
on one of one. Because that's his brand for his shoes, one of one. Because you know what? Tell me, he's not one of 100. He's one of one. He's special. Well, you think I got an ego? I think the guy's more interesting because he has an ego. I'm already beginning to think this was a mistake trade for him. He's going to be a menace on the streets of Minneapolis, it sounds like. Because he was a running joke. They called it a joke. In Charlotte. It's a joke. Oh, LaMelo, there he is. Speeding again and running stoplights. Isn't he funny? People really think that's funny. Well, you're laughing and smiling. You find this funny? I don't know. We'll see.
Those are only the ones we've caught on video.
Well, that's it. You don't know how many others there are. So, yeah, I don't know. I tend to be there are certain sports franchises that when they struggle, I love it, like the Packers. Delicious. Another one would be your New York Yankees. I read this story. This was a CBS Sports story. Yankees set franchise record for strikeouts as ugly slump continues. This is from a couple of days ago. They may have lost even more games now. For the 13th time in their last 17 games, the Yankees were losers, falling to the Rays at Tropicana Field. For the second straight night, the Yankees struck out 17 times. They're the first team in American League history to strike out 17 times in back-to-back games. The first team in American League history to strike out 17 times in back-to-back games. For the 13th time in their last 17 games, the Yankees were losers, falling to the Rays at Tropicana Field. For the second straight night, the Yankees struck out is
Code word?
Yes, exactly. That's it.
Will you remember that when you're elderly?
It's easy. It's easy to beat. You just have a code word.
Pineapple?
Or ack-ack-a-dack. Right? And so if he doesn't say ack-ack-a-dack, well, then you know it's a scam. So you have a code word. So that I can beat that one easy. That's not going to be a problem.
Well, you and Deuce could just do so many of your bits.
Well, that's it.
Like, answer this bit.
Yeah. Has the roar been restored?
Husker.
Yeah, right. Exactly. There's just no way they're going to know. So here's one more story.
But if you're elderly and you're, got dementia going on.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I just don't let me answer the phone if I have dementia. So here's another CBS Sports story, Timmy. This one raises some interesting issues. Phillies ace Zach Wheeler, who, by the way, I begged the Twins to trade for, trade deadline a couple of years ago. Think that would have helped this team? That was the year they won the division, too. Phillies ace Zach Wheeler calls out BS All-Star snub. Blames Sunday start rule. I feel like I've earned it. Mike Axiza, Axisa, writes this story. Says Zach Wheeler is a clear All-Star game snub this year, and he's not happy about it. After taking out his frustration on the Reds with a 14-strikeout masterpiece Tuesday night, Wheeler called out MLB for omitting him from the All-Star game roster, as well as the first round of replacement pitchers. It POs me. It's kind of BS. Maybe if I wasn't necessarily right in there, I wouldn't be saying this, but I feel like I've earned it. Just because I pitch on a certain day, I can't pitch an All-Star game or even be there or get recognition for it. It lists all the pitchers that are in, okay? It says...
It's ridiculous.
Did you know that rule?
No. It's a terrible rule.
They're protecting their arms. They're only going to pitch an inning, right? Each guy pitches only an inning. Wheeler is in that camp as well. He lines up to start Philadelphia's final game in the first half. That said, he can still be named to the roster, like Meyer, Miziorowski, and others, and recognized as an all-star, then be replaced on the roster. Okay? Wheeler said, I feel fine the second and third days after a start when I usually throw my bullpen. So I'd be fine throwing an inning, but it's not even an option, I guess. If a player voted into the All-Star game starting lineup by the fans is unable to play, he's replaced by the next highest vote getter. Otherwise, MLB selects All-Star game replacements. Pitchers replace pitchers. Position players replace position players. And every team must have an All-Star. Otherwise, there are no rules who replaces whom on the All-Star roster. Tenneby, he's not on the All-Star roster. Get these stats.
I'm looking at him.
He's 9-1 with a 2.28 ERA. A 3.12 FIP, whatever that is, 2.7 expected ERA, and a 4.90 strikeouts to walk ratio. He ranks 18th among pitchers with a 2.9 WAR, despite not making his season debut until April 25th, following surgery to treat thoracic outlet syndrome. He's a Hall of Famer with numbers like that.
Not only should he be in the All-Star game, he should be starting for the National League.
But because he's pitching on the Sunday, he can't.
It's ridiculous.
Who came up with that rule? And I understand. We talked earlier about they don't let guys pitch complete games anymore. They don't let guys pitch. Even if you guys got a no-hitter or a perfect game, they pull them out. That'd be great for you to get in the history books and be the 25th player to pitch a perfect game. But guess what? We're worried about your next start. And oftentimes, it's teams that they've got nothing at stake anyways. They're a terrible team in a terrible city with terrible fans in a terrible stadium. But they got so much money invested in these guys' arms. And as we know now, Tenneby, it's like the Twins said after they won the division for the first time. And they broke that losing streak in the playoff games, that 0-18. They had at their season-ending news conference, somebody in charge said, we're going to approach the season next year the way we did this one. We're going to throw it as hard as we can and swing as hard as we can. What boring, how bad a baseball is that? And you want to attract fans to a stadium to watch that garbage? Just have big guys stand up there and swing as hard. They're either going to strike out or hit a home run or pop up. Those are your three options. Well, that's fun. That's a great entertainment. And then you want your pitchers to just rear back and throw as hard as they possibly can. That's not my kind of baseball, but I'm not the target market either. But this is... How is Zach Wheeler?
Why not just put him in the game and then let him and the Philadelphia Phillies decide whether they want him to play or not?
Yes.
And then you can do the injury replacement.
Yes.
Or load management replacement.
That's exactly what they should do. But apparently they're not going to do it that way. So anyway, just a couple of odds and ends for you. Let's take a break. We'll come back when we do. The legendary one, Mark Rosen, is scheduled to join us as he continues to convalesce from his knee replacement surgery. He joins us next here on the Common Man program on the Fan.